If you're between the ages of 15 and 17, or you're a parent who has a teenager in this age range, this video is for you. I'll be covering the options you have when booking a flight as a 15 to 17-year-old, what the acceptable forms of ID you will need to have to board a flight and get through security, and then be sure to stick around towards the end of the video where I'll share some helpful tips if you're going to be traveling alone for the first time. Let's go.
Dream vacations start here.
So believe it or not, there is no federal age requirement for purchasing airfare here in the US. So as a 15 to 17-year-old, you do not need your parents' consent to book a flight on your own. Although trying to purchase airfare while you're under 18 might be difficult to do, since you need to be 18 to apply for a credit card. And while you can get a debit card as young as 13 years old, they require a parent or guardian on the account who's at least 18 years of age. As for you parents out there who are comfortable allowing your teenagers to fly alone, you have a couple of options. First, you can book a regular ticket for them if they feel comfortable with the airport process, and most importantly, they have a valid ID. The most common acceptable IDs for a 15 to 17-year-old would most likely be a driver's license or a passport. A learner's permit is also an acceptable form of ID as long as it was issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles. And for those of you about to get your driver's license, and really this goes for anybody watching this video, make sure you get a real ID compliant license, because starting on May 3rd, 2023, if you do not have a real ID type license, you will not be able to get through airport security without one. And all real ID is that it is a higher standard of identification that has added security measures in them. To tell if your license is real ID compliant, look for a star at the top of the card. You can also use your passport instead if you end up not having a real ID license. But here are some not so common forms of acceptable ID that you can use if you end up not having either a driver's license or a passport. The second option you have is to travel as an unaccompanied minor if you do not have a valid ID or you're uncomfortable flying alone. If you don't know what this service is, it's a service that you pay the airline for, where they provide assistance getting you on and off the plane, and if you have a connection, they will provide an escort between connecting gates. To use this service, it will require your parents calling into the airline directly to book your flight as an unaccompanied minor. There's usually a fee that you have to pay in addition to the airfare, and it can be up to $150 each way. Just note that some airlines do not offer unaccompanied minor services, or like Southwest Airlines, they do not provide the service for anyone over 11 years old. But if you do find an airline and use your unaccompanied minor service, a parent will be able to go with you through security and onto the gate and can wait there with you until your flight takes off. However, you will have to have someone waiting for you at the gate of your final destination to pick you up before the airline will release you. If you're flying internationally, you may not be able to use the unaccompanied minor service depending on which airline and country you're flying into. Also, a parent may not be able to escort you through security in some airports. And if you're booking an international flight as a regular passenger, you may need to present a letter of consent to travel internationally without both parents. So let me leave you with some helpful tips if you're a 15 to 17-year-old traveling alone for the first time. Tip number 1, choose your seat wisely. If you book a flight where you're able to choose your seat, it might be best to choose a seat either near the front of the plane or towards the back so that you're closer to the flight crew. So if you have any questions or feel uncomfortable about anything, you can get their attention fairly easily. Tip number 2, keep your flight as simple as possible. If you can book a nonstop flight and avoid having a connecting flight, that would be best and allow you to get to your destination sooner. Tip number 3, try and book your flight earlier in the day. If a delay is going to happen, it's most likely going to happen later in the day. If you end up booking a later flight with a connection and your flight gets delayed, causing you to miss that connecting flight, there may not be another option for you until the next day. This would not be a good scenario for you, since you would have to be 18 to be able to rent a hotel room or an Airbnb here in the US, which leaves you the only option, which is to camp out in the airport, which is not the most pleasant experience. Tip number 4, make copies of your ID, including physical copies. If you end up losing your ID or your phone or both, you will at least have a copy of your ID, which you can use to help get you through security if you have to. Tip number 5, if you are nervous about going through airport security for the first time and need help navigating your way through the process, or maybe you want to know what to avoid going through airport security, check out some of my other videos here. Just click or tap the screen to view them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.